Okay, I'm really, really pleased to introduce to everybody Roberto Romeo, and thank you so much for joining us on the podcast, Roberto. Roberto,
Thank you, Donna. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
we were actually, I have to be honest, guys, we were just laughing a bit because it's so cold in New York the past like couple of days, and I feel so bad. Everybody knows I used to live there, but I don't think it's ever been that cold.
It's been very cold. I can't describe it. It's just like it's very, very bad. But we have hope. It's getting better.
It's like
It's
you live in
getting better.
Minnesota right now.
Yes, something like that. I've never been there, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty close to this point.
Oh, crazy. So, listen, Roberto, talk to us about how your store, Roberto's Wins, got started.
Okay, I opened up in 1989. I studied previously with a great repairman, Saul Fromkin,
Oh, okay.
and I studied with him for 6.5 years, and I learned this beautiful job that I really like with a passion. And I studied with him, and I had offered to go to Europe to open a store
Oh,
because I didn't want to compete with my teacher. I didn't want to open a shop and be a competitor of him.
oh,
So I accepted the offer in Europe. And when I came back, Saul told me, I'm moving to Florida. So when he said, if you're moving to Florida, I say, I'm going to stay in New York. And so I did. I opened up my own little shop on the third floor of a small building on 46th Street. And it's been great since. I mean, the beginning was hard, but then everything picked up.
I remember, God, I hate to say it this way, but back in the day, there was Music Row. It was 46th Street, all the stores, and
Yeah.
I talk to us a little bit about that, and if there's any impact on you right now.
Well, all those stores are gone.
That's
I
crazy.
mean, there's beautiful music road. It was a pleasure walking back and forth. It was like a place to go to spend a couple of hours to look at the instrument, and everything was on the windows. And it's all gone. Everybody's gone. So I'm two blocks down, and I am the only one that survived from that time.
Wow, that's a testament to how well you're doing, I would think.
Yeah, yeah, it's been very hard because things change with the internet. Everything is different. The shop almost doesn't justify to be open anymore. But I have my repairs, I have my customers, and I believe in the shop. So I'm gonna keep going until I can. But it looks good. It looks really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, yeah, let's talk about this a little bit more. I know, listen, everybody shops on Amazon. We totally get it.
Yeah.
But, can you talk about how that aspect impacts you?
Well, the difference between a shop and the internet stores is the rent. I mean, we have very high rent, especially here in New York. So you have to be able to compete with those internet prices and still be alive. It's been very hard. Um, but people still love to come to the shop, to talk to somebody, to meet you, to share things together, and that is the only reason why I'm still here. But price-wise, is you need to get close to the prices of the internet, and that is really hard because you have overhead that is humongous, especially here in New York.
Yeah.
You have to pay people, you have to pay rent, insurance, and stuff. So it's not easy, but it's doable. I'm doing it. So I'm still here.
No, it's great. And I think the thing too is that you can't do repairs over the internet, you know?
No, no, that's the only thing that's really helped me because I have a pretty good reputation on repairs, um, and that brings the people in the shop, and that works. You know, they come in, they if they like what you do, they try to support you too. There is still a good side on the people that they like to see a shop, you know, keep going, being open.
Yeah, and also, just to be able to, you not only have like the repair part of the shop.
Sorry.
Okay, you not only have the repair part of the shop, but you also have, supplies, and you also have, and I might as well get to this now. You have the Mark Six room. You want to talk
I
about that?
do. Oh, the Mark 6 room. Okay, this Mark 6 room started in 2005,
Okay.
2006 maybe. Um, I had a very good friend of mine. He was a jeweler, and he decided to retire at age 50. And after a year, he got sick. He got cancer,
Oh,
and he was staying home, you know, thinking about it. And I said to him, "You should get busy. You should do something. Don't stay home. Go back to work."
yeah.
And he says, "I want to do something with you." I say, "What do you mean? What can you do with me?" "I want to work with you." So he said, I told him, "Why don't you buy a Mark 6? You buy a Mark 6, I fix it, and then, we work out the profit together." Well, before I knew, I had 80 Mark 6 in the shop.
80?
80. He bought 80. He got totally into it with a passion. So that actually took me off almost a year from the shop because I had to fix them, prepare them. So I had all these Mark 6s. We decided to make a Mark 6 room. And let me tell you, when I opened it the first time, it was amazing. They were incredible horns, really. A lot of great horns. And it was very successful. We were averaging like 1/6 a day we were selling.
Wow.
Yeah, at that time, yeah. It was really good.
Wow. Let me ask you, is it just the horns, or do you also have like the necks or even the parts or those types of things?
No, in this room is only the saxophones. But I have a magazine from that time that talks about the Mark 6. I have some accessory like the baritone amplifier, the baritone mouthpiece. It's a little bit of everything. And I'm actually trying to do a little museum inside there too. I'm thinking about it. The small old accessory that we find in cases and stuff like that.
That actually is a fantastic idea.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people, I have a mark. I have two Mark Sixes. I've got one for my alto, one for my tenor. A lot of people still love the Mark Sixes, even though the new horns that are out there are fantastic. But I can tell you, I just went to the Music Instrument Museum in Arizona, and it was an amazing, amazing museum. It was really a lot of fun. Museums would really, I think, attract a lot of people, and
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
still a fascination with the Mark Sixes.
The Mark 6 room is almost becoming a museum because people from all over the world come by and say, "Can I see the room? I mean, I want to see the Mark 6 room." So they have no intention to buy, but they want to see them. It's great to enter a room with all these horns sitting there. It's a very good feeling.
And
It's,
all that history too.
yeah, because you don't know who played them. Can be anybody.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you knew of any of those horns, if any famous, super famous folks have played them or anything
Well,
like that.
I have a Bob Berg saxophone for
Mm.
sale right now. It is going very high on price because we're trying to up the family. Um, but there are few horns, they belong to people. But plus, you never know because once I sold a Mark 6 to a friend of mine, a tenor, we found out that the horn was owned by Michael Brecker. That after that, he sold it to another famous player,
Okay.
Chris Potter. Sorry, Chris Potter. And then from Chris Potter, he ends up in my shop.
Mm.
So then you're like, wow, this song was played by Michael, then Chris got it, then this friend of mine got it. And it's kind of it's a different change the way you relate to the saxophone. So it's really good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Let me ask you something. So you started out, you were in the repair business. Do you play? Do you play saxophones or anything?
I'm a flute player and saxophone player, yeah. I don't play anymore. Okay.
Okay. Did you go to college for performance, or
No, I just started my own. And in Italy, I come from Italy. In Italy, I was working quite a bit. I was getting pretty well known as a flute player. So at age 22, I wanted to go to Brazil to learn bossa nova, sambas. Like a lot the Brazilian music. So I sold everything and I went to stop in Paris, stop in London. I came to New York and I finished my money. I couldn't go to Brazil. I couldn't go back to Italy.
Oh,
So I
wow.
remained over here. And it all started like that.
Oh, wow. And then did you get into to repair?
Well, this is another funny story. I was studying in a jazz school here in New York called Sound of Joy. And the owner, John Castellano, had a location on 72nd Street uptown. And after a couple of years, I stopped by the school and I say, "Do you have any work for me? I would like to work during the day and get something." And he said, "I'm building some studios on 46th Street. Would you mind helping me doing it?" So I never done it before in my life. So carpentry work, I didn't know anything about it. But under the direction of a carpenter, I built the studios, 5 rooms in 7 weeks.
Wow.
And next door was my teacher. So they were sharing the same floor. 2/3 of the floor was studio, 1/3 was the shop.
Oh,
And this guy saw me and say, "Hey, you have good hands. Would you like to work with me? I learn how to repair saxophones." At the time, I say, "No, no, I don't. I want to be a musician." But then I start to see what's going in the shop. Sonny Rollins, Dexter Gordon, Jackie McLean.
wow.
And I was like, wow, this guy is really good. Everybody was there. So he worked on me. He kept asking me, "I need somebody. Come on, come to work for me." And one day I decided, I say, "You know what? I'm going to do it. I want to learn." I At that time I thought, music was really hard to make a living with, and especially the level in New York was and it is amazing. The musicianship is really high. So I decided to get into it, and I loved it. It's till now. I mean, I still love it a lot. It's my passion.
That's awesome. What a great story to share. And I'm getting chills thinking about how you saw, all these great players coming into Saul's shop, Sonny and Dex. Oh my gosh.
And that was amazing. It was really incredible.
Amazing times, I gotta
Yeah,
say. But now, I mean, you've got some pretty famous customers of your own.
yeah. Well, sure. Well, everybody really. I mean, from Farrah Sanders, Sonny Rollins doesn't play anymore, but we remain friends. Lee Connies, Lou Donaldson doesn't play right now, but and all the young guys from Chris Potter, Michael Brecker used to come, Bob Berg, uh, all the all everybody stopped by once for sure,
Oh,
and a
that's
lot of people keep coming back.
That's great. That's fantastic. And I'm so happy for you that you persisted and that your store is still there. I know many folks, if you don't live in New York City, you may not understand or quite understand the impact. Because I do remember I grew up on Long Island, and so I remember going into the city and walking down. We call it Music Row, and just seeing all the
Yes.
shops, and it was so upsetting to hear everything closing down, and it just I don't
I
know.
mean, if you see it now, it's depressing. It's like there's nothing there. The two big holes they're building hotels, I believe, and it's very, very sad because it was really a part of New York that was really needed, and it was beautiful. It was mouth-watering walking around. You see the saxophones, the drums, the guitars, and everybody on the block. You could meet everybody. So it was really, I don't know why, but they took it out.
Yeah, actually, you mentioned something interesting too. You could meet everybody, you could make
Yeah.
connections. You can't, sure, you could sort of make connections online, but it's just not the same thing.
No. Plus, you were going inside Manny's and you see Carlos Santana play guitar, or that drummer playing with the trumpet players. Everybody was, musicians love to go to shops. They want to see the new gear, they want to see the new instrument, they want to, that feeling of entering a music shop is really, is really great. I mean, some
Yeah.
people will never find out because now with the internet, it's all different.
Yeah, that's the sad thing. That's a very
Yeah,
interesting statement. You're so right about that because as you were just talking, I was thinking to myself as I was, when I used to walk through those stores and
the smell, the smell of everything, the new gear, the new something very particular. Yeah.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, well let me bring this back upbeat. So
Yeah.
reminiscing, but reminiscing in a good way, but also in a sad way. And maybe the folks that are listening to this right now, this may give you, our hopes for this podcast is that it sparks some ideas in folks. It inspires people. Maybe people will start to turn the trends around. Hey, look, LPs are coming back, right? So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know maybe people need to be a little bit more creative with competing with Amazon. And again, you can't do repairs over the internet, so we still need shops for repairs. But maybe people could be creative and set up shops that have performances all the time. It'd be another performance venue type of thing. You can't really you can do it on the internet, but it's not the same as being there live. But I'm just throwing that out there just to kind of inspire people.
No, yeah, I think you're totally right. For instance, I opened up rehearsal studios in the
Oh,
same location. I have like 20 rooms.
oh.
They're full equipped with pianos, drums, and stuff. And we have a great turnaround of people coming and rehearsing. And that helped me. That's at the saxophone shop because without the studio, most likely I won't make it.
Wow. And the rehearsal studios also are so important, especially, in the big cities, and especially New York City, because, so many apartments, condos, people can't practice and,
Right.
just practicing individually, but also bands need places to get together. So I'm glad you mentioned that. I didn't realize that. It's good for
Yeah.
people to know, especially if they're living in New York City or even traveling from other countries and are staying for a while.
Right. They come in for rehearsal before the gig or before the record. Or we have a lot of teachers. We have a lot of Broadway show presentation. They work out in the studios. Eh, and also it combined with the shop in a very nice way because they meet each other. The saxophone player meet the piano player, the drummer, and say, "How you doing? I didn't see you in a long time. What's going on? Oh, come on, sit in, play with us." So it's like it's becoming a little bit like an institution almost.
Like a
A
community.
music, a community. The people come. We have a lot of famous guys coming through, and it's like intimate, but at the same time, it's open to everybody, and it's a good feeling. You walk around, you see all these guys, say, "Wow, look at this guy." Once we saw Prince walking through the studio.
Wow.
It was like amazing. It was like, wow, Prince is here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome. See, and
yeah.
you know what's interesting? I'm glad we came kind of full circle with this conversation because, that community that was there on Music Row, now with your studios and your shop.
Kind of. It's kind of the same feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just missing the smell of the new instruments. I remember just talking to you came to my mind. I said, wow, it's true. I was so excited to go inside the store because you smell the things. It's like,
Yeah.
it's really nice. Yeah.
All the listeners are drooling right now just thinking about the sensation. Well, actually, speaking of new instruments,
Yeah.
you have your own brand of horns and
Yes.
ligatures and reeds. Can you talk about the horns first?
Yeah. I designed a saxophone that I'm producing in Taiwan with a company that I think probably the best company in Taiwan. And it's been a long process. It's been like 15 years of work. And finally, I'm very content with it. And, you know, I believe they're great. I I don't want to say they're the best, but I don't think they're second to anything else out there in the market.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, are they geared towards a particular level of player?
I do, well, I do two different lines. There is the intermediate lines that is really, it's not a student line. It's not a real professional, but it's very close to a professional line. And then I do the high professional level. Um, just to tell you, the guy that plays with the Tonight Show, uh, plays my saxophone. Archie Shepp bought 2 of them. Pharoah Sanders bought one. Um, People are catching up with it, and it's really a good horn. Very strongly built. It doesn't go out at all, and great sound, great intonation. I worked on intonation a lot, and on the keyboard, of course. Uh, I like it. I'm satisfied.
That's
I'll never put anything out that I don't like. So it has to be good for me first, and then I put it out.
and it obviously must be good if Pharoah Sanders and Artie Shepp are playing
Yeah.
it.
Pharaoh played at Birdland for the whole week with the saxophone. He just left his Mark 6, said it to me in California, I play yours. I was like, wow. It was such an honor for me. It was really amazing.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, talk about your ligatures. How are they? What do they look like? How are they different?
Well, I do some wooden ligatures that are only good for rubber mouthpieces, and I custom size it for people. So I like wood a lot, and I always thought like a wooden ligature is like an acoustic case for the guitar, like for the piano. It's something about the wood that gives you a better quality sound. The sound projects more. Um, the good thing about this ligature is a ring that you put on the mouthpiece. First of all, it's always in the same position, so you cannot move it up and down. You're not like changing the position of the ligature itself. And the attack is amazing. There is such a big difference when you start to play, the attack of the note with a wooden ligature, with a ring, or with a regular ligature. Is, I can say, really the sound is much, much better. The only problem with that is, too many people doesn't know how to handle wood. So they press too hard and they crack sometimes. But I got people that have ligature for the last 5, 6 years, and they keep playing every day, and they just love it.
So, talk to us a little bit about how should people care for the wooden ligature? If it's mistakes to avoid, that kind of thing.
Right. I mean, you have to. I mean, the most important thing is the pressure that you put when you put the ligature on. I mean, there is a way to put it on and give a little twist to lock the reed. It doesn't have to be pushing hard. Um, at the beginning, it was a tragedy because almost everybody would push very hard. They will pop every ligature they try. So I was like, no, don't do it so hard. Just be gentle. Um, you can't really play in a very cold and a very hot place with it because the wood change, of course. It's wood, so wood is like sensitive to humidity, it's sensitive to cold, to heat. So you have to, take care of it a little bit. But I use very hard wood, uh, and that seems to be strong enough. Before I had 3 or 4 different kind of woods. I decided to just do it on black African wood. It's very oily, it's very dense, and it's very strong.
Interesting. And we were, again, we were joking before. You've got freezing cold temperatures there
Yeah.
right now. So would that, that would definitely affect the wood. But how would people deal with handling?
Well, it's the same thing you do with a clarinet. I mean, the clarinet has the same issues. It's a wooden body. It can warp. It can crack with the cold weather. But even if the ligature cracks, we can fix it. I mean, we have a way to do it, and then it's pretty safe. But I'm selling a lot in Japan, in Korea, and in Europe now. So people are really catching up with it again, with the saxophone.
Right, right. It's interesting. This also kind of comes a little full circle too, because you had mentioned that carpentry job that you had, the
Right.
first one, right? So I'm wondering if there's a little bit of a connection there.
Yeah, there is always been love with wood. And, I even tried once to make wooden resonators for the pads.
Huh.
I experimented that. And actually, the sound was amazing. It was really beautiful, projecting much more and everything. But the only problem is because there is so much humidity inside the saxophone, the resonator will warp.
Oh, yeah.
So after a month, it would be no good.
Got it.
But the sound wise, it was really amazing. Sound wise, it was just such a difference. It was incredible.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay. All right. Now let's move to oh wait, hold on a second. With your ligatures, are they for all the saxophones like alto, tenor, soprano, bari, or just for some?
I do have it for bass clarinet,
Mm,
B flat clarinet. I have it for soprano, alto, tenor, and baritone.
okay, great.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Okay, so now let's get to the horn. We talked about the horn, excuse me, the reeds.
The
'Cause
reeds,
yes, because I know Tim Price is he's using your reeds now. He loves them.
right? Yeah. So it's a very interesting story about the reeds. Um, Many years ago, 2002 probably, I met a Spanish designer, a young kid that came to the shop with a saxophone. And he told me I'm a graphic designer. Blah, blah, blah. He looked like very confident with his work. And I asked him to design a logo for me, and he did. The logo that I'm actually using now. And we created all the paperwork, everything with the logo. Very excited about it. And one day I got an email from him. Then in Photoshop, he created like a reed box. And he says, look at this. If one day you make reeds, you should use this box. And I fell in love with the box. I said, wow, we gotta make reeds for the box. I said, I said, we gotta create the reed. I mean, this box is amazing. I love it. So I contact Rigotti in France. They used to buy reeds from him. And I say, you know, how can I get in business with the reeds? And he said to me, just come, do your cut, and then we can produce it for you. So I went, and I went with a designer because he created me a catalog and everything. So I took him with me. It was a very exciting young kid. And I stayed there 3 days, and I worked with the reed maker. It was amazing, an amazing experience, really. And I decided the cut to do. And I said, I want to do this cut. And I produced few to let people try it. And it turned out to be a great read. Now we can't keep up with the sales.
Hmm.
We're really selling a lot of them.
What kind of cut?
Um,
Like, is it filed or unfiled?
no, unfiled.
Okay.
Because when I was young, I used to play lavos, and I liked them a lot. To me, the lavos, in the 70s was really the best read out there.
Hmm.
So after seeing what Rigotti was doing, and after seeing what Francois Louis was doing, and I liked them both, but to me, they were lacking something.
Hmm.
I went in there, and with that in mind, I balanced the two to create mine.
And are your reads? Is there a particular genre that your reads are best for, or do you have a
No,
couple cuts? Okay.
I think the a good read is a good read. I mean, my idea when I was cutting the reed was I was thinking about water. I wanted something clear, something that really you can put whatever you want inside. But having the reader response for you is the most important thing. I mean, the quality of the cane is amazing. It's a French cane, and I'm very happy with it. And one thing that I did, and I was advised by a few players, um, was to create micro sizes. So you have a too soft, too medium, too hard. You have a 2.5 soft, 2.5 medium, 2.5 hard, and then you go 3 soft. You keep going that way. So I know at the beginning was people were like, "Oh, come on! I mean, how many sizes? How can we decide which one?" But when you find your size, I can guarantee that all the 10 reeds in the box play,
Mm.
all of them. Because what I found out with other company, they give you a box of 2.5s, and the range is from number 2 to 3.5s inside there. So that's why the reed don't play for you. I mean, you find 2 or 3 of them that can satisfy you, but the rest is like you can't play them. Either they're too hard, either they're too soft, they don't sound right. So I wanted to make a reed for the player, and I wanted to make something that you don't pay $50 for one reed, because if you buy a box of 10 reeds and you only have 1 or 2 that plays, the price of the reeds gets very high.
Yeah.
So I can guarantee that my reeds, they all play in the box. When you get the right size, you're totally cool.
Now, how do you, okay, let me ask you this question. Let's do it like, if you can, if there's a way to do a comparison, how would, let's go from like cane reed to cane reed. Most people compare, use Van Dorn Blue Box as the comparison reed. So how does, let's say your 2.5 medium compare to a Van Dorn Blue Box 2.5 medium? Is it stronger? Is it?
No, well, my 2.5s covers every kind of 2.5s you can find. You just have to find the right one. I would say with the blue one, you should go 2.5 hard, between 2.5 medium and 2.5 hard. One of the two will work with you. Depending if you like a stiffer reed when you play, or you like something that just plays right away.
Got it. Okay.
So the whole idea is really to give option on the same sizes. I mean, maybe it sounds complicated, but you really find a little notch harder or a little notch softer the reed that can really fit your playing. You just take one reed from the box and it plays every time. Every time is the same.
And this would be similar from, someone maybe who's playing on synthetic reeds like Ligaures or fiber reed and maybe wants to go back to cane. It would be the same thing you're saying.
Yeah, I think the uh, synthetic reeds. Let's talk about synthetic reeds. I like the idea of synthetic reeds. I mean, I think it's a good thing to have in your case because something happened. Can be different altitudes, very humid, very dry. The reeds kind of act on you. You need something that's very consistent, that you know the way it plays.
Yeah.
But I don't like the feeling of it. I don't like the way I feel it on my lip, and the sound is, is different. I know it's close. I know there is company that are doing a great job of that, and I respect them. But the quality of the bamboo, the quality of that sound is you can't really do it with anything else.
Right. Okay. So then let me ask you this question then. And actually, I'm going to pop back to the ligatures for a second. If someone is using a synthetic reed,
Yeah.
will that have any kind of effect using one of your wooden ligatures or no?
No, no. My ligature works like a regular ligature. Um, would not make any difference. Honestly, I never tried, but
Okay.
it's like, yeah, it should work without any problems.
Okay. I was just thinking, if it would, using a wooden ligature, if it would make the synthetic reed sound more like cane or, you know what I mean? Bring out other qualities in it.
I mean, the wooden ligature gives a round sound, gives like a more harmonics in the sound. The sound projects further away from you than with a regular ligature. It's quite amazing, actually.
Hmm.
You play the wooden ligature, you feel your sound going away from the horn and stay there. But when you play with a metal ligature or any other kind of ligature, the sound drops in front of the bell. Is really you gotta hear it. It's quite amazing.
That's
It's really sound wise, it's really good.
That's so interesting. So now let me ask you this question. Do you have any upcoming, like products, anything new coming out, in the near future or any events happening?
I was thinking to create a wooden ligature for metal mouthpieces,
Oh,
but I don't know. Seeing the way things are going, I think I want to focus on my reeds. Maybe create a different cut in the future. Um, I'm getting old, so I don't feel like getting into anything new right now. I mean, I'm very satisfied with my saxophone and my reeds and my ligature. And I think that I want to rededicate time to that, to get it more around. I got people selling it now in Los Angeles, in Chicago, a few places in Europe and Japan. And I want to dedicate myself keeping that quality that we need as a saxophone player.
That sounds like a great goal to have. Now, you just were starting to answer my next question.
Yeah,
You know, where can people, obviously they could visit your store in New York City,
right.
but you know, we have people from all over the world listening here. So you mentioned there's some people selling your reeds in Los Angeles. Are they stores or are they
Yeah,
individual?
it's a store. It's their own connection.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, many in Los Angeles just started to sell. Then we have Paul in Chicago, the sells my reads. But everybody else can buy them online. Uh, Over $50, we do free shipping
Okay,
in the
cool.
United States, and we do sell a lot. For instance, one of the countries that buy most of my reads is Norway. I think I conquered Norway. I mean, there is so many guys that buy in Norway. It's amazing. But
Wow.
now, yeah, we're selling in England, we're selling in Italy, we sell in Spain, Japan, Korea. So we're getting around.
Okay, good, good. Okay, and we're gonna put the link to your website where people can buy this in the
Yeah,
show notes.
yeah.
Definitely. Now that's the reeds and what about the ligatures though? Because you said that those have to be custom made.
Usually, when you buy a ligature, you have to specify what kind of mouthpiece you have,
Okay.
and I will cut them. They're all made bigger, I mean smaller, and I have to just adjust the size on the lathe and then send it to the guy.
Got it. Okay. And then for the horns, do you sell those internationally or do people just have to come to you in New York?
That is only New York.
Got it. Okay.
We ship them. We ship few horns around. People were happy with the purchase. We just sent one yesterday to Switzerland.
Wow.
Uh, but the best is because they have different finishes, and every finish is a different sound.
Okay.
So the model is all the same, but the finishes change the quality of the sound.
Got it. Got it.
One is more open, one is brighter, one is darker. Uh, be great. And we can also do like we do like playing. People call us, we play the horn for them. They can compare it. You know, we can guide them through online.
Okay, that's actually great to know because, like I mentioned, we do have so many people that are international. A lot of folks from Australia and, you know,
Yeah.
and whatnot. So, which it would be kind of hard to get to New
Well,
York.
in Australia, they can find my reeds. There is a company there called Mate Reed,
Okay,
and they're selling my reeds right now. So they're becoming popular over there too. It's a
terrific.
great read. It's a great read. It's really, really good. It's
Yes,
worth to try.
I know Tim Price was, you know, raving about them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. So now, okay, so we know that, you know, we could buy from you internationally, but remind us the address of the store in New York.
It's 149 West 46th Street. It's between 6th and 7th Avenue.
Got it. Cool. And actually, if you could say the website, and again, we're going to have it in the show notes.
Yeah, it's robertoswinds.com.
Now, what if people had, you know, if they had questions, should they email you? Should they call
Yeah,
you?
yeah,
What's
yeah.
best?
They can email at info@robertoswinds.com and we reply promptly to everybody.
Terrific. Well, listen, Roberto, I wanted to thank you for your time today. Some really fascinating stories, and especially hearing about you know all the products that you have, the horns, the ligatures, the reeds, especially, and that Mark Six room. I'm sure
Yes.
it's going to be piquing people's interest, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be really curious about the wooden ligatures as well.
Well,
So
I hope so. I hope so.
yeah,
I
that'd be
gotta thank you, Dana. It's been great talking to you and to all the rest of the musicians listening.
thank you so much.
All right. Take
Okay,
care.
yes. So what I'm going to do, I'll stop the recording at this point, and I want to just thank you. This was so interesting, and just you know
Thank you,
hearing.
Dana. It's been great, really. It's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
fun.
Now, we're going to be putting this out. It's probably going to be like the first week of March or something like that. So, like
Okay.
in the introduction, I'm going to say, you know, we were, you know, filming this like when it was brutally cold. anymore, so people get an understanding of that. But this was, I got to tell you, for me, this was fascinating because it brought back so many memories too. Just thinking
Yeah.
about, Music Row, and even like you said, the smell of the new instruments and all that kind
I
of
know
stuff.
that came to my mind before. It's like I still have it. It's like, I love the smell.
Yeah,
Really going to a new.
I
So
know.
nice.
And what really struck me, you just said it kind of in passing. People will not know what that smell is. They just
That's
won't.
that's that's the sad part.
That is
Some
so
people.
sad.
I know. That's true though.
But I am so glad that you're doing well. You're doing okay.
Yeah.
You're still there.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
I hope that you don't seem old to me, but if you ever do retire, that someone will take it over and keep it
I
going.
can't. I can't retire.
You're not
I'm
allowed
gonna
to.
go all the way. I'm gonna go all the way.
So you got to deal with more of these brutal winters.
Yeah. Yes.
Just have a good heater. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's put this behind me there because it's so cold.
Oh,
It's
God, I can't even
ridiculous.
imagine. Okay. Well, listen, Roberto, I wanted to thank you so much.
Thank you, Dana.
Really fascinating to me. And
Maybe one day we meet. If you come to New York, please stop by the shop or
I
yeah.
definitely will. I definitely
Okay.
will. Thanks so
All
much.
right.
All right. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Keep warm.
Bye. Ciao. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
See you. Bye bye.